no deal. No deal. Jeremy Maclin. No deal for Buffalo. No deal for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I know it's very unlikely that Jeremy Maclin will return to the Eagles. I really, really want Maclin back. I really, really want him on the team. I feel like Jeremy Maclin will thrive in the Eagles' offense, especially with guys like Alshon Jeffrey, Jordan Matthews, Torrey Smith, Zach Ertz. I feel like he has a better, if he came back, he'd have a better receiving core than he did when he was here. And it's not like Jeremy Maclin's a bad player. Yes, he has been injured a lot. He has, but from what I understand, because I am from upstate New York, so I do watch a lot of Buffalo Bills football, they need help at the wide receiver position, especially with just having Sammy Watkins as your wide receiver. Obviously, Robert Woods was an up-and-coming receiver. He was very, very good. But obviously they let him go. Charles Clay, their tight end, he emerged. So they don't really have any receiving core as of right now, besides their draft pick in Zay Jones. And I expect him to be a pretty decent wide receiver. I don't understand why Buffalo didn't offer him a big enough contract, because I know I feel like Buffalo has the cap space. They did let go of Leonis McKelvin last year. They let go of Ron Brooks a couple of years ago, obviously, to come here. The biggest offensive player on the Eagles, on the Buffalo Bills, is LaShawn McCoy. So, and obviously Tyrod Taylor is a really, really good running quarterback. The problem is he doesn't throw the deep ball much. So now, really, your wide receivers last year on the Buffalo Bills, it was Sammy Watkins for a little bit of the year because he was hurt with that foot, and then Robert Woods, and then they signed Percy Harvin to a deal, who ended up backfiring on him crazy, because he ended up going out on stress leave pretty much for concussions or whatever the fact. And so I thought Buffalo would have been the place to go for Maclin. It's not like he would have had to go completely far from home. Obviously, LaShawn McCoy being there, it would have been a great reunion. I think they would have played very, very well together. And obviously, he went to visit Baltimore today. Walked away from Baltimore with no deal. Baltimore would have been a great place for him. Joe Flacco is a very, very good quarterback, especially with the aging Steve Smith. They really don't have much offense. So I don't know if Buffalo and Baltimore didn't offer him what he wanted, but at the same time, I feel like Jeremy Maclin does want a big deal. I mean, he feels like he should have a ginormous deal because the Chiefs paid him a lot of money to play. So what does this mean? What does this mean for Jeremy Maclin? Where will Jeremy Maclin go, or where will he be playing for the start of the season? Now, there's a couple places that I think that he'd thrive in. Obviously, a lot of them are pretty much either considered not feasible or unbelievable, I guess. But I think Jeremy Maclin would thrive in a Pittsburgh Steelers style offense with Big Ben, obviously with Antonio Brown being there, especially with a guy like Martavius Bryant coming back off suspension. Martavius Bryant was a really good wide receiver, especially and obviously Le'Veon Bell. I mean, I feel like he'd thrive very, very well in that offense. And another place I'd like to see Jeremy Maclin play would be on the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers Cam Newton is a freak. He's a very, very good quarterback. And especially with Kelvin Benjamin, with his down year, didn't really play, didn't play to the expectations that he was supposed to play as. So, obviously he would thrive in a New England-style offense because you can literally get anybody off the street and they play good for New England. Just look at James White. The guy had, 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. He single-handedly saved my fantasy team. He was my last pick in the draft for the Super Bowl. But he can definitely thrive in a New England-style offense. The better question is, would he be able to thrive in the newly operating Eagles offense? Now, obviously, he'd be an outside threat. He'd probably play the slot a little bit. But if we had, come on, Alshon Jeffrey on one side, Torrey Smith, Jordan Matthews, and Maclin, come on. Come on. It's just that those are such good offensive players. Like I said, we don't have the cap space for Jeremy Maclin. The only way we'd be able to pull off Jeremy Maclin is if we did a 1-year deal. Unless, even still, I think I read the report, we have about $5 million left in total cap space after the Barnett signing. So even if we let go of Kelsey, Marcus Smith, Ryan Matthews, who's expected to be released anyway, Bryce Treggs, Paul Turner, even if we let all those guys go, we're not going to save that much more money. Maybe a total of like $10 million, which gives us about a $15 million salary cap. That's if that. I don't know the numbers. I'm not a numbers guy, but we could do another Torrey Smith style type of thing where it's 3 years, $15 million, to where it's more, I would say, more of an incentive contract, to where it's really he can get out after a year. But honestly, I'm all for getting rid of Torrey Smith to get Jeremy Maclin back. I think Jeremy Maclin is I personally think Jeremy Maclin's a better receiver than Torrey Smith, and I know we just signed him. It's not going to happen. Everyone wants Jeremy Maclin back, but the only way they think that we can get him back is if we let go of Torrey Smith. So, but I think we can get him without it, even if it is a 1-year deal, because we do have a lot of free agency coming up. We can get rid of a lot of guys to make the cap space, but a lot of the guys that came to the Philadelphia Eagles this year wanted to play for the Eagles. It's not like they wanted monster contracts. You know what I mean? Alshon Jeffrey could have got a monster deal. He could have got a monster deal in a lot of places, but he decided to come to the Eagles to play. Torrey Smith could have got he probably could have got a decent deal. He did get a pretty decent deal from the Eagles. LeGarrette Blount was estimated to be one of the best off-season free agent running backs. He could have really went anywhere that would have paid him, but he decided to come to Philadelphia. There's something special in Philadelphia that's brewing, and I think at the end of the day, Jason Kelsey's not going anywhere. It sucks. Unfortunately, I don't understand why he wouldn't go anywhere because of the Wisniewski signing. I feel like they should have cut him. Ryan Matthews is expected to be cut after OTAs due to his injury. We don't need Bryce Treggs. We don't need Paul Turner. We don't need these bum-ass wide receivers that we came off. Unfortunately, we're stuck with Nelson Aguilar, but apparently he's doing very well, but I don't really care because he's not a good receiver, and we shouldn't be having him. And as soon as next year comes, he's gone regardless, unless he wants to pull a Marquise Lee type of year, which is not going to happen. Will Jeremy Maclin land on the Philadelphia Eagles? That is the main question. If the Eagles were smart, they would do it. Obviously, the risk of injury is there, especially with his foot. But I feel like there's a certain special, sort of something. I feel like there's something in the air when you go back to a team that you played for. And obviously, there was a lot of bad blood when Chip Kelly was there, when he traded Bashawn McCoy and let Maclin go. But Chip Kelly's not there anymore, okay? We're a completely different team. We have a new offensive coordinator. We have a brand new head coach. We have a brand new defensive coordinator. Pretty much the only guy that was really there was Not really anyone, to be quite honest. So I would love to see Jeremy Maclin back, even if it's for a year, just to see what he can do, because he was so dynamic for the Eagles. And if he can thrive in a Michael Vick offense or a Nick Foles offense, what could he do with Carson Wentz, who is continuing to prove that he is going to be an excellent quarterback? So we'll see.